Tuesday! It is the second day in our season, the second episode. Emily is first already. Like clockwork. It's amazing. I don't know how she does it, but she does it every single time. Everyone, hello. As you filter in, I hope you're doing well this Tuesday. I'm taking some time off, which is kind of weird. It's strange. It's nice at the same time because I don't have any plans, obviously. I'm not going to go anywhere. I had this time on my schedule already because we usually do a camping event, and we talked about that some on Monday where this thing called PDF, Playa del Fuego, we're doing a virtual version of it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we're actually going to also stream the show over at the Burn, over at the event. It's a sanctioned Burning Man event, even though it's all virtual, and it's free, and you can go on there from anywhere in the world. Ian, I'm sure, will be there. He's just joined us. Melissa as well is here. Steam, are you going to be going to PDF as well? So yeah, it's super strange. What's wrong with the mic level now? What is the problem with it? It's way hot from what this says, and you're saying that it's terrible for some reason. What is it? Is it too loud now? What's the problem? Robert has a problem with the microphone. Hey, Septic, how's it going? So I have some time off, and I'm just going to be hanging out at home and do a little coding for this art festival. We'll probably announce it on the show like Thursday, where you need to go to register if you want to do it. It's overdriven. Okay, well, let me turn it down a little then. That can be done. All right, is that better? Is that it should be lower at that point? Like a bass guitar through a normal amp. All right. I heard yesterday that things were quiet, and so I've tried to make them a little better. Too much static. So that sounds like maybe overdrive. Is it gotten better? I can keep moving it down to see if it gets it better, but I want to find the right in between for that. And that's hard to find sometimes. I wonder if maybe I can monitor it a little bit. Is that a thing that I can do? If I do monitor, maybe that'll help. Oh, there's the desktop. Turn that off. I don't know why it sounds like that. It's just terrible. Why is that happening? Cool. It's quiet but distorted. Let's see. Can I do it this way? What if I turn this on and nope, that didn't work. I can try a different one. Let's see if I can. It's a new challenge every day. That's what it is. Let's go to the main scene here and see if we can add in this other one. Let's see. Yeah. I'm going to try and see if I can fix it by bringing in the other mic that we have. Let's see. Is that better? Does that sound at all better? Is it even working? I guess is the other question. Maybe not. Sound settings. Is it an issue with sound settings? Let's see. If I do one of these things, does that work better? Is that the problem? Oh, that's better. Okay. Cool. We fixed it. Everything's great. I'm going to have to make that in a few different places. I'm going to turn it down a little because I see that it's peaking a bit. Okay, so that should give us right around there is probably about right. And then I need to make sure that is happening in each place. So stay tuned as I try to make all the adjustments. That should now have me there. Our chat scene, I'll need to add to that. Luckily, I'm getting pretty good at this, so it doesn't take that long to fix things, but that is super frustrating. All right, so we've got that all fixed, and now we can move on. Yay! Yeah, I knew it was gonna go away
eventually, right? It just had to, because I had to go and add it. So, all right, so we are on base now. It sounds like it sounds good. All right, cool. Yay. Thank you for all the input. Let's go over the rules for while we're waiting for a few more people to roll in, perhaps. First of all, don't be a dick. Don't go looking up the answers on the internet. If you'd like to do that, I can give you the questions ahead of time. You can do that on your own. That's fine if you'd like. But nobody wants to do that. That's not part of the fun. You're challenging yourself. People, I can't stop you from doing it, but it's more fun if you don't do it. That's the whole point of it. So let's do that. What's dueling banjos now? What is that? You can get points if you're the first person into the chat, like Emily was today. So I need to make sure that she is getting a point for the day. She was the first one in. She's very good at that. Emily, you'll have to tell people what your secret is, and that is, I assume, that you have followed and or subscribed to the show. You've set your alerts for all, and then you're probably just waiting with bated breath for it to go live. Those are my guesses. And then you can also get points by answering a question correctly. You can answer a question correctly quicker than everyone else, get an extra bonus point, so 2 points. You get points also for sharing the show, but they do need to be original shares. So that means that you can't share to the same place a bunch of different times. You can only share the one time, like to your profile, but then you could share maybe to someone else's profile or to a group. And if you were to share to 2 different groups, that would also count. So I'm going to do the sharing thing just so you can see it. I saw a couple people have already done it, which I appreciate. I was a little distracted with all the sound stuff. And let's see. Okay, so if I go down here and I say share, this is on Facebook, by the way. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. But when it comes to sharing, you're going to have to do that on Facebook for the time being. So here I am sharing, and you'll see a little alert shows up. That is very cool. If that alert shows up, I'm going to give you points at the end of the show. And it could be the difference between winning and losing. It's happened a couple times now. So you may want to hedge your bets there. Robert has already done it. Craig, Trey, and Shaggy all sharing the show. Very much appreciated, and I have done it myself, so I'm not asking you to do something I wouldn't do myself. Steam also, look, just did it. Thank you. So those points will go on at the end of the game. We'll tally up everybody's actual points, and then we will move on to bringing those. If you want to tag an individual person, you don't want to put it on their profile, don't share it privately because we don't see that, so we have no idea that you're doing it. Instead, just do an @tag in the chat there, and that will give you credit for that as well. Last but not least, if you want to, there is one extra rule that we've got. It's called throw in a Karen. Our friend Karen invented it. One time she answered with none of the above, and we thought that was pretty cool. So if you shout the word Karen into the chat while there is a question that's live, it's basically saying that you don't believe anybody else is going to get the answer correct. And if they don't, you get a point. But it's a gamble. If somebody does get it correct, you lose a point, and you can go into negative points. So you got to be careful about that. Pick the questions you think are going to be the hardest. I think those are pretty much all of the rules. We do this at 7 o'clock every night. That's the important thing to know. So make sure you swing by. We're going to tally up all the points for the entire week, starting yesterday, going through Sunday. Whoever has the most points wins a brand new, free, very soft t-shirt. Melissa has one. She just got it. She can attest to the fact that it is very soft and plush and wonderful. So Emily won last week. She'll be getting hers in the mail as soon as we get the time and effort to actually go to the mail. Yeah, so let's all play. We've got 14 people watching right now. So that is enough to continue on to our first question of the day. Let's go with question number 1. What small creature's name means first animal? 60 seconds on the clock. We need to know what small creature's name, right? Which one means first animal? And I know what you're thinking. It's Adam. That's not true. That is not, his name does not mean first animal. Just so we're all clear on that. About 40 seconds left. Get your answers in. Trey says, "Where's Caitlin? I need more carrot bread." Yeah, Caitlin made some really delicious carrot bread, and so we sent that around to various folks. She's in another meeting. She's very important. She's on a board of directors, so she has to go and do that instead of goofing off with us. So yeah, unfortunately, cannot do our silly games, but we are still here, and we'll be here 7 o'clock every night. Oh, looks like Shaggy says it's me, Keith. I am the first being. I know I'm old, but Jesus, man, I don't know if you have to rub it in. Lion King, I like that. Cat Baloo. Gordon goes with Protozoa. Ian says you have to arbitrate style points tonight. Oh, I have to do it? I don't know. Time's up. We're going to the chat. Let's see what people have. Looks like we've got a few other answers going in. Trey goes with Protozoa as well. Craig stole my answer, says Steam. Craig thought it was Steam was gonna go with Cat Baloo. Kangaroo. Kangaroo is the first one ever. I didn't know that. Squid, Jaguar, Mickey Mouse, not related, maybe slightly related to Mickey Mouse, his long lost brother. Bacteria, good guess by Melissa. That's also right at the buzzer. So time's up. We kind of went over a bunch of the answers already. This is weird because I've got the other camera set up for the microphone, and so sometimes I'm looking into it but it's not live. I'm going to move it over here. I'm moving it near this one, so at least it looks like I'm looking at the right camera. Danny's here, everybody. You missed question number 1, Danny, but you can jump in with question number 2. So going down the list, the actual correct answer was not the first answer, which was Keith. I know some people thought that maybe I invented life, but it didn't happen. I'm not quite that diligent. I would have probably just slept in. My walls look like they are bleeding. That's right. The winner yesterday wanted red, so we went with red. I think I got that correct. And so the correct answer for question number 1, Oseptic says pre-guess the whole evening, 1923. Question number 1 was Protozoa. Protozoa means first animal, and it's a tiny little, it's like a bacteria, kind of, right? But it's just a tiny little itty-bitty animal. So Protozoa is the correct answer. 2 points for Gordon Sr., also a point for Trey. Those are all the people that got that right, according to me. Please keep track of your scores. I'm all alone tonight, so I'm doing it myself, and that's going to make it a lot harder. So I could get it wrong, and I would hate to steal points from you just because I'm terrible. You can do pre-guesses if you want to. I'm probably not going to go over them. If somebody gets it correct, let me know, and I'll just send them a t-shirt. I'll go back and, check it. Hi, Dorothy Davis. Welcome. We're doing some trivia. I'm glad you could join us. But we're not going to do duels. We're not dealing with duels today. There's too much going on, and I'm all alone. So I cannot vamp and take notes and do all of the things. So did I kill Caitlin? No, I did not kill Caitlin. The red is just from the lights. Shaggy thought I was a protozoa. I often get that same exact line when I'm on dates. So this was just the winning color. Caitlin's off in a meeting, and she won't be joining us tonight or tomorrow night either. So 2 days out and about, we can cause all kinds of trouble. So I guess I'm supposed to give style points as well. Can I give that to somebody else? I feel like I should give it to someone else to do. Someone else maybe do style points. That would be more fun. I don't know. Keith seems like a style point. Lion King, I'm going to go with a style point. Cat Baloo, overdone. We do this all the time. Kangaroo, I think, is a style point. Squid seems like it could have been correct, maybe. Jaguar, no, I'll give it a style point. Mainly style points. Mickey Mouse, also a style point, just because I don't know who Mickey Mouse is. Craig says you want Steam to do style points. The problem is he'll just give himself style points, and no one else will get a style point. That is the problem. I thought I'd check out what you posted. Well, thank you. You let me know what you if you like it or not. We do this every night at 7 o'clock, and so it's something to look forward to since news is catastrophic and your social media is everybody arguing these days. We're just coming here and doing some trivia. 10 questions of trivia. We hang out. We're a little bit goofy and ridiculous, and it takes about an hour. So we're gonna move on to question number 2 so that it continues to take about an hour. Question number 2 is, what is the official language of Kenya? Of the country of Kenya, what is the official language? 60 seconds on the clock to get your answers in. If you're new here, the way that you play, you just put your answer in the chat. And then if it's correct, you get a point as long as you did it in the 60 seconds. If you're the first person to get it correct, then you get 2 points. You get a bonus point as well. We also do have a thing called a Karen. A Karen is a thing in which you shout Karen into the chat because you don't believe anybody else is going to get it correct. And if they don't, you get a point. But it's a gamble. If anybody does get it correct, you lose a point. So it's a little tricky. You can also get a point for sharing the show, which a bunch of people have done today, which we really appreciate. It looks like all kinds of shares. All add up with shares. Let's take a look. About 10 seconds left on the clock. Robert just said Kenya. Kenya, the language of Kenya. That's, I don't think Kenya is a language. It's a country. Kenyanese, that would sound more like a language. But yeah, Kenya, not so much. All right, so time's up. Let's go to the chat and take a look at what people have said. All right. Looks like Trey went with English, the official language. All right, that's a good one. English is quite pervasive. French, there are several countries in Africa that speak French natively. Steam also went with French. Norwegian, says Ian. That is an actual language. Danny says English and Swahili. Portuguese, Swahili. Kenyanese. Another Swahili. Can you hear me? Says Gogo. Definitely a point for that. I'm going to give a point also to Kenyanese, because that is not, there's no way that was right. Exhosia. Exhosa? I don't even know what that is. African. The name of the language in Kenya. Yeah, that's not, no, it's not. That's not fair. Oh, Steam's helping. Okay, Steam's also giving style points, everybody. He's going to give style points. All right, so let's see what we have here. I'm curious because I've seen some people saying English and some people saying English and Swahili, which makes me think that I have to Google things. And there's no way that I have time to Google things. So somebody go find that out. My answer that I've got is Swahili. That was the answer that's in the book. So Danny was first with Swahili. I can at least give her that because it was English and Swahili, I guess. Gordon gets a point, definitely. So 1 point to him. And Dorothy comes in first day on the job, absolutely killing it. Gets a point right off the bat. First question. We also had French. I don't know what Exhosa is. It's a South African language. Trevor Noah speaks it. Oh, okay. That's great. Dorothy says, gotta go see Trey in the other world. Wow, Dorothy got 1 point. Listen to one question, got 1 point, and then jetted. What I like is she's like retiring on top. That's really impressive. She's like, that's a Hall of Fame career right there. I batted 1,000. I'm out. I'm done. All right. Trey says there's 2 official languages, actually. All right, so I assume that the languages are English and Swahili. Is that... I'm going to have to trust people. At this point, people could just say, actually, just so you know, Keith, everything that you said is wrong, and I just looked it up, and it's this other thing, and I'm going to have to go, okay, that seems fair. That I don't see why you'd be lying to me. All right, so I'm going to also apparently give points to English. I think I'm going to give double points. I think the bonus point goes to Danny. She got both of them correct. Not only the answer I wanted, but actual both languages. But I will give a point, let's say, to Trey for getting English as the second official language. And anyone else? Did anyone else get English? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So Trey, I will give you the point just for because it is one of the official languages. It is also the language of Wakanda. Oh, that's good. I didn't know it was the language of a made-up place in a book, in a comic book. All right. Well, Kenyanese is very official language. Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Well, I'm also going to give a point to Septic for Kenyanese. I didn't realize that was also an official language, and you suck. Don't do that. All right. I'm all alone here, man. I'm all alone. I need your help. I don't need you fucking with me. All right. Question number 3. Let's do this. What was Babe Ruth's first name? This could be a trick question. You never know. We could be throwing it. It's Tuesday. Sometimes the questions are a little easier on Tuesdays. Ian looked it up, says they totally speak Norwegian. Okay, so also Ian gets a point. I've just put it down there. And so, yeah, we're looking for the first name. It could be Babe, right? Could be a trick question. First name is Babe, last name Ruth, right? Don't know for sure. But you'll have to get your answers in order to be able to get points. We got George, Herman, Chuck, George, Herman. Somebody has to do Chuck. Nope. Okay. James William III. Nice. Style point for James William III. Let's see what other answers are coming in. About 15 seconds left. Dr. Babe Ruth. It's not a first name. That would be as a prefix, really. Almond Joy Ruth. Almond Joy Ruth. Almond Joy Babe Ruth. Is that Baby Ruth? I see what you're doing there. Go. I will give you a style point for Almond Joy. Ginsburg. Because it's Ruth Ginsburg. That would be the last name. We're going to the chat. We're out of time. Ruth. Baby Ruth. I assume that is a callback to Goonies, which is great. I haven't seen Goonies in forever. I hope it holds up. I hope it's one of those movies that I go back and look and I'm not like, oh my God, why did I why did I like this? This is so terrible. Because that would make me sad. I feel like I would be really sad if that was the case. All right, so time is up. Let's take a look. We've gone through most of the answers. I kind of did it as we went along. And we do have a correct answer. The correct answer, nobody, ironically, guessed Baby. I thought somebody might go for Babe, or Babe for Babe Ruth, but no one went with that. All right? But the answer is George. The actual answer is George Ruth. George Baby Ruth. There you go. George Babe Ruth, I should say. George Babe Ruth. All right, so that means first one that got in was Danny. She's over on Twitch, by the way, to give Septic a run for his money. Septic went with Ruth, which was interesting. He thought his first name was Ruth and his last name was Ruth. I guess style point for that, right? Ruth Babe Ruth. Good old RBR. Gordon says that his pre-answer was Tippecanoe City, Ohio. Very specific. That was very specific. Unfortunately, not true. Let's see. What's Goonies, says Septic. Oh my God! Do they not have Goonies over in the UK? You're also younger. That might also be. It's an older movie because we're old. But yeah, you got to go look up Goonies. It's a movie from like, what is it? Like the 80s, I would say. Like early mid 80s, somewhere in there. Great movie. Go check it out. It costs nothing now. I'm sure you can get it for free somewhere. But yeah, you have to definitely check that out, Septic. It's hilarious. All right, so yeah, Goonies. I think there's Goonies after like Goonies. I think there's a Goonies 2 and a Goonies 3 and probably something that went straight to videotape or something. But don't worry about those. Just original Goonies, the Goonies. Go check it out. I highly recommend it. Goonies never say die. That is true. But his name was George Herman. Oh, well, there you go. So George Herman. Some people went with Herman for the last name. That was interesting. So his first, unless you're saying his first name was George Herman, and if that's the case, then everybody got it wrong. But I think his first name would be George, and then Herman was a middle or last name or something, right? Um, okay. Let's do 8675309 says Craig is a pre. Let's see if that's the answer. Question number 4 is up and coming. What is the only walled city in North America? So there's plenty of cities in like Europe that have walls around them, right? Because you had the Dark Ages and Middle Ages where there was like castles and they'd put keeps and they'd put walls around cities and stuff to prevent people on horseback from charging in. But in the United States and in Mexico and in Canada, in North America, not as much. Not a lot of that warfare going around castles. Not a lot of castles, right? Much less an entire city that's been walled. So the question is name the only walled city in North America. Forgot to hit the button. So you have 60 seconds. I just put it on there so you get extra time. You're welcome. Gordon's pre-answer was Maelstrom. Maelstrom I don't think is a city. I feel like it isn't. Steam says it's the B-52 bomber. And that is a flying fortress, but not a walled city. Very, very close, though, I will say. Robert says the White House, and which I would say is not a city, right? White House isn't a city. I feel like that's more of just a house. I could be wrong, but 20 seconds left on the clock, so get your answers in. So we're looking for an actual city. Saint Maria, Quebec City, Youngstown, Ohio. Nobody wants to go there. St. Augustine, another Quebec City. Karen. Oh, we've got a Karen. All right. So we've got some people who think that they might know what it is, and we've got some people that think that other people have no idea what those people think it is. And we'll have to find out who is the correct one in that. We're going to the chat because time is up. Maelstrom is another word for whirlpool. Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're correct. Check. I will sign off on that. Walla Walla, Washington, also one that came in towards the end there. So let's see. We're waiting just for Facebook to catch up with everything. And yeah, that's it. So time's up. So going through, first we have to find out, did anyone get it correct? Anyone? And the answer is, yeah. Yeah, someone did get it correct, unfortunately. So, Craig, you have lost a point, putting you at the -1 for today. So very sad about that. And the people who got it correct are the people who guessed Quebec. Yes. I think Quebec City also would count, right? The city of Quebec. I'm not aware that those are two separate things. So Gordon looks like he's the first one who got it correct. Go, congratulations. 2 points to you. Trey gets a point. Melissa, Karen, and Danny all also getting points. Chester's Mill, Maine, says Steam. And that is, what? That's according to Stephen King's Under the Dome, which is not actually an atlas. A lot of people don't know that. But it is, he writes mainly fiction. So we're not going to be using that for our facts, unfortunately. So let's move on to question number 5. What was the last year that man walked on the moon? So, as you know, people have gone to the moon. I know some of you don't believe that, but the fact is that is actually a thing. Emily came in, swooped in, and got the first point, and now I'm not hearing from her, so I assume she dipped back out after that. I didn't see where she said that she was dipping out. I don't know if anybody else saw that. I was talking about the overdrive at one point, and then just disappeared. I have no idea where she went to. But yeah, not answering. Being very quiet or being very not here. And I'm not sure which it is. All right, answers are showing up. I got about 30 seconds left. So you'll definitely want to get your answers in. Steam says it was Jesus Christ Superstar, just so you know. Jesus Christ Superstar, who I assume was the last person on the moon, is what he's saying. We've got a lot of 70s, 60s, and 70s. That feels like the right time frame. I will say that. That feels like 60s, 70s is going to be... That's when we started hitting the moon. So it's probably around there. And we didn't do much after that as well. So that's something else that we have to kind of keep in mind, is that it also didn't... Like, we didn't have any in the 80s, for instance. Time's up. We're going to the chat. We'll wait for Facebook to catch up and see what people have all come up with. So I'm watching that. Like, we've got a lot of different guesses. Looks like everything from 1967 to 1975. Ian has done 1492, which I assume he believes that the North America is the moon. That's what I'm guessing. So style point for Ian. Didn't we just do this one? No, William, actually we didn't. The question that we did before was how much time went by between the first person on the moon and the second mission to the moon. So that was two different questions, all relating to people on the moon. Very easy to confuse that. But in this case, I didn't say this was closer, but I probably would have taken the closer guesses if nobody had got it right. But people did get it right. Septic said 12 days ago, and that is the wrong answer. Yeah, it's not 12 days ago. I'll give you a style point for that, but definitely not 12 days ago. No, the correct answer is 1972. Danny came in first with 1972. Trey gets a point. Craig gets a point, bringing him up to 0 now. And I think that's everybody who got it in on time. So yeah, surprising. I figured Gordon Sr. was going to nail this one. Right? This is history. Gordon Sr., you were alive for that, weren't you? You were alive when that happened. You could have watched it on TV. Steam says, what's that? The moon landings were fake and all volcanoes are man-made also. Moon landings were not fake, but all volcanoes are man-made. That is a fact. Government just makes them to keep people down. All kinds of facts around that. We can share that some other time. All right, so let's go over the scores, because that is our 5th question. So this is where the way it's piling up right now. I'm going to reshape this so it goes from bottom to the top. Craig has got 0 points. I say that because he had negative points, and now he has 0 points. Gordon says I was drinking. That makes sense. Okay, that's a lot harder. That's a lot harder to remember when you're drinking. Emily has 1 point. Gordon, Karen, and Dorothy all also have 1 point. With 2 points, Gogo and Melissa each have 2 points. Trey has 5 points, and Danny has 7 points. If I missed a question that you got correct, let me know, and I'll definitely settle that up. As I said, it's just me today, so it's a little challenging to keep all of the moving parts going to make the show not only entertaining, but accurate. And so it has to give somewhere. Somewhere we have to give up, and I believe accuracy is the place to do that. Why have an accurate show that's boring when you can have a really fun show that's completely inaccurate? Let's move on to question number 6, everybody. From what Shakespeare play do we get the phrase, "There's something rotten in Denmark"? 60 seconds on the clock. Gordon says it's Rumpelstiltskin. Steam says it's Craig Lewis. Craig says it's Thomas Morello Riddle. So I don't. And Gordon Gogo says that it's platitudes. That's what these are. So I don't know that any of those were correct, unfortunately. So you still have about 35 seconds to try to get the correct answer, just so you know. So you don't have to just depend on your pre-answer. It would be very bold if you did, but I'm just saying that's not a thing you have to do. I like style. I like the style of anyone who does, and just goes, I'm all in on the pre-answer. So yeah, we've got very little time left. 10 seconds left. So make sure to get your answer in. We want to make sure that everybody gets their points that they deserve. Time's up. So we're going to go to the chat. All right. Lots of people seem to be settling in on one answer. It seems like a lot of people going for Hamlet. The Merchant of Denmark, not actually a Shakespearean play. I will give you a style point for that, though. Ian gets that. Let's see. All right, so time's up on Facebook as well. I am going through and just trying to make sure everybody gets points because the correct answer is Hamlet. That is absolutely right. Technically, it's Hamlet 2, The Return of Hamlet. No, nobody's going to go on that one. All right, well, points all around, basically. Almost everyone. Everybody gets points. We're just going to spread points around. This is a little harder when everyone gets it right. I should really make the questions more difficult on these days when I'm alone, because then I have less to actually have to type, which is good, right? I feel like that's better. And isn't it in the state of Denmark? Something's rotten in Denmark. Depends on the translation, right? Sometimes when you translate it, it ends up just in the state of Denmark, because, the language barrier and stuff. That guy dresses in a dress in that play. That's fair. Septic says, I want ham now. All right. I like it. Let's do that. Christina says, no, don't. Well, all right. As you wish. We won't do harder ones. We're going to move on to question number 7, though. Question number 7. What film was the most expensive to make in the 20th century? Out of all the films of the 20th century, what was the most expensive one? Well, we have 1 minute on the clock, 60 seconds to answer. We're blowing through things right now, just so you know. This might be a shorter show than others, but it's harder to mess around when you're all alone. It's just me being ridiculous. It looks like, let's see, Steam says it's Jumping Jehoshaphat's, which I don't think was. Hamlet 2 Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, that's, I believe, the correct name for it. I could be wrong, but I think you're right. It's Jumping Jehoshaphat's, Jehovahsat. I can't even say it. You know what? I need to stop drinking before I do these shows. It's not helping at all. All right, you've got 15 seconds left on the clock, so make sure to get the answers in. We've got Titanic, The Abyss. That was the one that was all underwater with where you had to breathe in oxygen through liquid. Cleopatra, Gone with the Wind. That's a very good one. Danny says Karen. We're going to the chat because time is up. Trey says Titanic. The Toxic Avenger. The Toxic Avenger. I don't think that one was terribly expensive, I'll be honest. Gordon goes with Waterworld. Melissa also Waterworld. Septic craving for ham. So this is good. We've got Dunkirk. This would be, that would be the 21st century, I think. That just came out, right? So we're talking about the 20th century, right? Isn't that what it said? So yeah, time's up over here. Let me finish all my thoughts here so that I can make sure that everybody who should get points gets points. Because otherwise it gets super weird if I try to do two things at once and I start typing stuff. Septic says, is there an original Dunkirk? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Maybe you were saying it was cost a lot to make the the town of Dunkirk, which was probably maybe the 20th century, maybe before the 20th century. All right. So we've got a Karen on the board. So that is the first thing that we're going to have to take care of business-wise. So we need to find out if anyone got it right, and the answer is yes. In fact, somebody got it right before Danny even called Karen. The first person to get it right was Craig Lewis. 2 points for Titanic. There was a lot of money put into that. In fact, there was a whole like documentary about it because even the china and like the things on the tables was printed with like the is it North Star? It's something Star Liner. The name of the company. So they made everything identical to what the Titanic looked like, including like silverware and stuff. So there was a lot of money thrown into that to try and make it as accurate as possible. I think they call that in theater, is it verisimilitude, when everything's trying to be as real as possible? White Star Line. Yeah, that was it. I knew it was something Starline. I couldn't remember. But yeah, I think it's called verisimilitude, where you're trying to go for just absolute like accuracy on things. Oh, Gogo doesn't want to know the ending to it. You really should have gone and seen it when it was in theaters because it was shocking. I like the people who cried at the end, and then I was like, wait, you weren't prepared for this? Really? So lots of points went there. Unfortunately, Dunkirk, probably very expensive. There was a Dunkirk film in 1958. Oh, good. Okay, so not incredibly wrong, right? So not totally wrong, Septic, but just not expensive enough. There you go. Let's move on to question number 8. Movies like Jurassic Park and Titanic use CGI. What does CGI stand for? 60 seconds on the clock. What does CGI stand for? All right, so we're looking for, and this has to be, you have to be absolutely correct, just so you know. All right? We have to be very careful about this, because a lot of people might know this. But if you're not getting it absolutely correct, then if somebody does have it, then, I'm just saying. So we have to make sure. So there may be Googling here afterwards. I don't know, but I just want to make sure that we know that. 20 seconds left on the clock, just for everyone to be aware. Somebody has come to our door, which is very strange. I wasn't expecting anyone, so we'll see what happens there. It's not Common Gateway Interface. That is correct. That is not right. Going to the chat, because time is up. A lot of people going. We've got computer-generated image. We've got computer-generated imagery. We've got computer-generated imaging. Craig's guessing information. Ian, you get a point for that. Very nice. So yeah, lots of different ones. Graphic interface. That not a bad guess. That's also a CGI. So that could be correct. Let's see. Time's up. It looks like we've caught up in the stream. 5 Craig coins to Ian. Well, good. I'm glad that you're handing those out. So here's the thing. Unless somebody can convince me otherwise, what the answer I have is computer-generated imaging. Computer-generated imaging. And if that is the case, if that is correct, I'm only seeing one correct answer. All I'm seeing is Steam's answer for computer-generated imaging. We've got computer graphic imaging. We've got computer-generated imagery and computer-generated image. So I am not seeing anyone other than Steam with computer-generated imaging. I know everybody right now has gone to the mattresses and they're going to Google and they're being like, no, it can mean all types of different things. And so I will get all kinds of links here where computer-generated image is correct or imagery is correct. But what I am seeing is computer-generated imaging. So let me know, and we can revisit this if somebody can find the definition is different. Image is the root of imaging. Sure, but it's multiple images, right? A computer-generated image, right, would be that, well, Google will say whatever you put in it, just so you know, Craig. You can search for anything in Google. I could shoot, if I put Craig guessing imaging, I'm going to put that in Google. I'm putting Craig guessing imaging and see if it, or guessing information and seeing if it comes up in Google. Let's see. Craig guess profiles. Yeah, see, there's stuff that comes up. There are 5.4 million results for Craig guessing information. Just guessing. All right, so computer-generated imagery. All right, so where are we putting that from? Is that, are we going with Wikipedia? Is that what it is? Craig Googling information. Steam would really like to win just for once. That's all he wants in the entire world. All right, are we saying computer-generated imagery then? I appreciate that you Googled CGI movie. All right, so I have to do it. I have to look it up and kind of come up with. Let's see. There is one for computer-generated imagery with a dash, which is ironically really, really similar to, it's exactly what Danny put in with the dash and everything. It's up on Wikipedia. So I guess computer-generated imagery I will also take. Is everybody okay with me giving Steam 2 points for getting it exactly right? And giving everybody else 1 point for computer-generated imagery? Does that seem fair to everyone? We'll find out. I said that we were going to go quickly, but this is good. We can do it this way, and this takes up all the time. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm giving points to anyone who had computer-generated imagery. I can't do computer-generated image because I feel like that's a still image, right? That's different. Like if I were to do Photoshop, that would be a computer-generated image maybe or something like that. But and this is multiple of those, right? Just like a picture isn't the same as a movie kind of concept, right? It's a moving picture. So I think imagery we can go with. So Danny gets a point for that. And let's see, computer-generated imagery. Trey gets a point for that. Steam is keeping his 2 points. Melissa is going to get a point for this. And Steam got it correct. And those are all the ones I'm seeing. All right, so I think that that's it. I think that that gets everybody's answers in who got it correct. All movies are a series of still images, but all movies are not just one still image. That's the difference. Yes, if I take a bunch of images, if I say, give me an image, and then I put it on a screen, that's not a movie. If I take multiple images, I flip through them and put them on a screen, then movie. So I think that that's difference. Arguing semantics. Yes, it's the best show you could possibly come and see on the internet. Come watch Another Wasted Hour where we argue about semantics on things. Let's move on to question number 9. Question number 9 is the penultimate question. All right. What is the capital of Malaysia? The capital of Malaysia. 60 seconds on the clock. The capital of Malaysia. A movie is an image without a motor behind it. Well, it is several images. Even if you took the same image and still just flipped through the same image, it would just be the worst movie of all time, right? If it was just the same image but just flickering, you wouldn't watch that, right? Nobody would watch that. It's just the same thing, just flickering. Nobody would want that. Everyone would hate that. 25 seconds left on the clock. So get your answers in it's gotten. I understand Caitlin's like fear now, right? Is that when anytime anybody puts more than one answer up, it now causes it causes like anxiety, right? Because it's like, oh my god, what if they are, what if this is gonna be so bad? If this is, oh no. Um, all right, so let's go to the chat because time is up. So we're now watching the chat to see it catch up to Facebook. We're watching the stream to see it catch up to Facebook. And yeah, so we're almost there. We're almost there, people. A lot of people took with this one seriously, it looks like. Not a lot of people guessing crazy things, it seems. All right, so time is up here. Let's make sure we put that there. Ian went with Walla Walla, Washington. Style point for that. That's definitely not the answer. Mayosia says Septic. Mayosia. I assume that's a combination of Asia and mayonnaise. Is that correct? Is that not it? That's not. No. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any others? Well, somebody did get it right. And the answer that is correct is Kuala Lumpur or Kuala Lumpur. So it looks like we got the first person with that correct was Trey. A bunch of different people got a point on that one. Gordon got Kuala Lumpur after the fact, but I think what you were trying to do is correct Kuala Bumper. That's what I think you tried to do, and then is that what happened? Is there was a mistype there? It was an autocorrect. I'd like to give you a point if everybody's okay with it, because I think that's what was trying to happen. Koala Bumper doesn't seem like it was funny enough to be a style point, and it was not off enough to be a wrong answer. So oh yeah, mayonnaise and Asia, perfect. I'll give you a style point from mayonnaise Asia, Mayo Asia. Jakarta is not correct. That was another guess. Singapore, Robert, unfortunately, not the correct answer. Kuala Lemur is not a style point. Where was Kuala Lemur? I didn't even see it. I just saw it as Kuala Lumpur. I may have given somebody an actual point for being that wrong. Where was Kuala Lemur? There are people who did not get it correct, but I didn't see Kuala Lemur. Yes, some people spelled Lumpur wrong. Was it? You're saying replied to Craig. Where was Craig's? Kuala Lumpur, because Craig says so. Yeah. Well, yeah, who had it? Kuala Lemur. I didn't see it. Gordon had it. Where was Kuala Lemur? No. Gordon had Koala Bumper, which I think was just a mistake. He didn't say so. Robert, was that autocorrect? Oh, Koala Lemur. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, so that was wrong. Never mind. I see what he was doing. All right, so style point for Gordon, for Gogo. Not a real point, though. Just trying to freak me out. I see what you're all doing. All right, last question of the night, everyone. Oh, it couldn't come too quickly. Last question. What was Julie Roberts' next movie after Pretty Woman? You all remember her from Pretty Woman? She was a breakout star during that movie. What was her next movie? 60 seconds on the clock. Last opportunity to get some points for tonight. Remember, whoever wins this is going to get to have a acceptance speech and pick the color of the studio for tomorrow. Let's see. Thelma and Louise and the Ugly Sister. Pre-Toke Monster. Pre-Toke Monster. That sounds ridiculous. I'm gonna give you a style point for that, Go-Go. I don't even know the reference really, but it just sounds ridiculous. We have Sleeping with the Enemy, Brooke I Had, Ellen Brockovich. Brockovich. I feel like it could go either way, but I think it's Brockovich, right? I think it's Brockovich. I've heard it, I think, both ways as well. 5 seconds left. Let's get the answers in. Sleeping with the Enemy, Aging Gracefully Woman. That's just what she does, right? Is that what you're saying, Gogo? You're going for multiple points. All right, time's up. Let's go to the chat. Brockovich. Brooke I Had. Oh, Brockovich is what you were going for. Got it. Aaron Brockovich. That was Gina Davis, not Julia Roberts. Oh, dang. Steel Magnolias. Septic says, now I want broccoli. Ham and broccoli it is, Septic. I think we've made your dinner for you today. You know exactly what you're going to eat. All right, time is up, and it is up on Facebook as well. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Let's go from the top down and see what people guessed, and we will get the correct answer. So we started off with Thelma and Louise, which is not the correct answer. Then The Ugly Sister, also not the correct answer. Pre-Tokamonsta, not it. Sleeping with the Enemy? No. Aaron Brockovich. Either way. No. It is not it. Sleeping with the Enemy, we've already done. Aging Gracefully Woman, I think, is just a funny one. Steel Magnolias is our last guess. Ladies and gentlemen, Steel Magnolias is not the right answer. Nobody gets it. And no one threw a Karen. The correct answer is Flatliners. Flatliners. That was her next movie. It wasn't necessarily a very good movie, but it was her next movie. That is all we have for today. Nobody got any points. I'm on that last question. I am going to sort this again and go through the points to see if anybody believes that their points are different than my points. All right. Let's take a look. If you got style points today, feel free to put those in the chat. We'll see who won the style points, because I didn't keep track of those at all. So with 1 point, Christina, Dorothy, Emily, Michelle. Why Michelle? I missed something. Michelle wasn't here. Septic, Shaggy, all had 1 point. I'm going to have to figure out where Michelle was on the list, because I'm pretty sure what that means is that I put it to somebody else's. Somebody else was probably supposed to get a point, and I gave Michelle a point. Right? Was Michelle here? Maybe Michelle did get a point, and I'm just like blacking out about it. Gordon has posted a link about Tokimonsta, which I'm not going to click. There's no way I'm doing that. Gordon has 2 points. Go-Go and Jenny with 3 points. Karen has 4 points. Craig, Melissa, and Steam with 5 points. Danny with 9 points. And Trey taking the night with 10 points. So there are our points without shares. So if anybody thinks that your point total was incorrect, let me know, because there's obviously one that's going to be incorrect, right? I feel like somebody got screwed out of a point. Let's see. Where is Melissa in reference to other things? Or Michelle. That's just under Melissa. Maybe I didn't give Melissa a point that she was supposed to have. Melissa, should you have had 6 points? I hope you were paying attention. Or was Michelle here? Was there a Michelle? Did anybody see Michelle? Go back and look for me. Everybody go back and look and find out. While you're doing that, I'm going to go take a look at the shares and see who gets point on the sharing point. Craig has shared to Caitlin O'Dwyer. That is a unique share, so I have to give it to you for that. But you're a bit of a bastard. I also shared on his profile, so 2 extra points going to Craig tonight. That brings his total up to 7. And then let's see. Jenny gets a point for sharing. Jenny up to 4 points. Steam has a point for sharing to the Free Range Tree Farm, which is just a private group that we talk about our land out in West Virginia, but is technically a unique share. He will probably get banned for it, though, from that group. Robert gets a point for sharing. I like that whenever we change the rules, everybody just tries to break the rules because why not just be a good citizen? This is why we can't actually just have self-ruling. It won't work. This is why you have to have like laws and you have to have police and stuff, because it's just like, no, think about it, right? Just put it the same way. Here's a great way of putting it. Parking, right? You don't really get in trouble for like parking badly. You just anger people. That's it. Like you often don't get tickets or anything like that. People park like complete assholes all the time because they can get away with it. Nobody actually cares. They just care if they're going to get in trouble. That is why you cannot have it work. There's some people could do it, but once you get all people involved, complete crap. Trey gets a point for sharing, so 11 points for him. And Shaggy also gets a point for sharing, 2 there. So it looks like even with the shares, Trey has taken the night. So Trey, you get a acceptance speech, and you get to choose the actual color of the studio for tomorrow. So there we go. Melissa says, nope, 5 is right. Great. Thank you for being honest on that. While he types up his acceptance speech, let's go over a few things. Remember, you can get a point by being the first one into the chat and saying the word first. You'll want to subscribe or follow this stream and put on notifications to have the best chance of being able to do that. All right, so that's rule number 1. Well, suggestion number 1. You get points for answering questions correctly. Those points all get put together. At the end of the week, we're going to give away a t-shirt. We've given away a bunch of them. It's somewhere. It's on this side. There's the t-shirt. All right, so you'll win that on Sunday if you have the most points. You get a bonus point for answering correctly, and you get points for unique shares on Facebook, which we really appreciate. I also have a podcast called Another Wasted Hour, so check it out. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get a podcast. Search for Another Wasted Hour, subscribe to that. 140 episodes. It's a lot of fun. Comedy, there's some trivia, all kinds of things, and some really great music from artists and musicians here in the DC area that you've probably never heard of before. So go check that out. Give us a review and some stars and stuff like that. Also, like Another Wasted Hour on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Some of you folks right now who are listening have not done it, because I have invited you to like Another Wasted Hour on Facebook, and it says that it's pending. So go check and see if you actually have liked Another Wasted Hour on Facebook. We do a whole bunch of stuff for you, 7 o'clock every night. So do us a favor and go hit the like button on that. We appreciate that. And there's also Another Wasted group on Facebook. If you want to join that, you can help steer the way the show goes in the future. A little community that we have created. So yeah, that's it. Let's see. Trey says, yes, most pointless points. I hope everybody had fun. I think we all did. Thank you, Trey. Congratulations on winning. The color for tomorrow is going to be key lime pie, which I assume is just a really light, like green. I think that's what we're going to go with. Craig says he had a blast. Good night, everybody. I also say good night to everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Until tomorrow at 7 o'clock, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay home, take care of yourself. Make sure you're doing your social distancing and stuff when you leave the home, because we want you to all come back tomorrow and the next day and be alive for years to come. We'd be very sad to hear if that didn't happen. Shout out to all the people who have been making the world go round while we've been staying at home. All the essential workers, all of the healthcare workers and the truck drivers and the delivery people and the warehouse folks, and just anyone who's going out there, construction workers, doing the things that need to happen for us to be able to have a society that continues on while we work from home and keep ourselves safe. That's a huge sacrifice you're making. We recognize it and we thank you. So until 7 o'clock tomorrow, Another Wasted Hour is out. Everybody have a good night.